So we are starting section 3.9. Section 3.9 is going to be a piece of cake because you've already done it. It is solving equations with fractions this time. So this time I'm going to tell you how to deal with fractions. So we have the basic things that they want you to know about solving equations, which is that you can add something to both sides and you can divide something by both sides, which you needed to know for the other section. I'm going to remind you a little bit of what the rules were for solving equations, you know, what our steps were, what our basic steps were. If you'll remember, the first step was to draw the line. I'm a real stickler for that one, remember. You have to draw the line. Step 2 is to simplify both sides. You have to simplify both sides by first getting rid of the fractions. Then you get rid of parentheses. Then you combine like terms. Then step 3 is to move your letter from the right side to the left side. See, I start writing in shorthand after a while. Then step 4 is to move the number from the left side to the right side. Then step 5 is to divide by the number in front of the letter. I don't write everything down after a while. If you want to go back and look, you can remember that it was earlier in chapter 2 where we started talking about that, if I remember correctly. So we are going to take our 2 over 3 x is equal to 14. And we need to first draw our line. So I'm going to draw my line. Because we have left side and right side. Then we have to simplify both sides by getting rid of the fractions. In order to get rid of the fractions, you need to multiply by the common denominator. And when you do this, you multiply everything by the common denominator. Now here's the thing. We've talked a lot about common denominators, and you have to look at every number in there to figure out what your common denominator is. So our denominator here is a 3. Our denominator over here, that's a 1. That's what's on the bottom over here is a 1. It's not written down, but that's what it is. It's a 1. So since that's a 1 and this is a 3, our common denominator, remember your common denominator has to be a bigger number because it's your least common multiple. It's a bigger number that they both go into. So the number that they both go into would be 3. Both of them go into 3. 1 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 3. So that's what I'm going to multiply everything by. So I come over here and I multiply everything on this side by 3, and then I multiply everything on this side by 3. When I do that, over here, the 3 on top will cancel out with the 3 on the bottom. That's why we do it. We end up with a 2x. Can't forget about the x. Over here, 14 times 3 gives us 42. Now we don't have any more fractions. And isn't that just a beautiful thing? No more fractions. That's what happens when you multiply everything by a common denominator. It automatically eliminates all your fractions. It doesn't matter how many fractions you started out with, you will eliminate all your fractions. Then you need to get rid of your parentheses. Well, I don't have any parentheses. Need to combine like terms. They ain't got no like terms. Need to move the letter from the right side to the left. I don't have a letter on the right side. Need to move the number from the left side to the right. I don't have a number on the left side. Need to divide by the number in front of the letter, so I'm dividing everything by 2. And that gives me x is equal to 21. Now, there are some people that say that is not the way that I learned how to take care of fractions when I was in high school. I learned something about multiplying both sides by the reciprocal. And you did. When you were in high school, they did it a totally different way. When you were in high school, they did it a different way. If you had 2 over 3x equals 14, they would want you to say, oh, we need to get rid of this fraction so that we can get the x by itself, and then it would be completely solved. So let's multiply this side by 3 over 2. That would cancel out with that. That would cancel out with that. Come over here, multiply this side by 3 over 2. That would cancel out with that, leaving me with a 1 and a 7. Then 7 times 3 is equal to 21. You still get the 21. It's an awful lot of canceling. I don't care which way you do it. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that you get the 21. What I'm telling you is this way works all the time. All the time. This way will not work all the time. It works now because you only had one fraction over here. When you end up with more than one fraction, this way doesn't work anymore. When you end up with more than one fraction, this way works all the time. When you have only one fraction, this way is okay. When you have more than one fraction, you're going to have this way. Just so you understand. Is there ever going to be a time in this class where you're going to have more than one fraction? Oh, but yes. Is it right now? No. Do what you will. Doesn't matter to me. I have to do it this way. Draw the line. I'll give you a couple seconds. Go ahead. Do it whatever way you want. I'm going to rewrite it so you can see what I'm doing. I need to get rid of my fraction, so I'm going to multiply everything over here and over here by 8, because that's what the common denominator is. They cancel each other out. That leaves me with 5y equals negative 25 times 8 is a negative 200. Then when I go to divide this by 5 on both sides to get the y by itself, I get y equals negative 40. Problem number 5 doesn't even have fractions in it. Look at that. Problem number 5 says 16x plus 23 minus 5 is equal to 8. Draw my line. Make sure you draw it underneath the equal sign. Let me tell you it's number 5. I do not have fractions, do not have parentheses, do have like terms. So I need to combine them over here. So I get 16x, 23 minus 5 is 18, so that's plus 18 is equal to 8. I have no letters on this side, but I do have a number over here, so I'm going to go minus 18 and minus 18. So that gives me 16x is equal to negative 10. And divide both sides by 16. X is equal to, you got to reduce it. Negative 10 over 16 is negative 5 over 8. That is not what they got. Did I write something wrong? I did. There's an X here. Nobody hollered. Combine the wrong like terms. Nobody hollered. Y'all were supposed to be shouting like crazy. Nobody hollered. Over here. Should have combined these two. 16x and 23x. It's 39x minus 5 is equal to 8. Still don't have a letter over here. Do have a number over here. Plus 5, plus 5. So 39x is equal to 13 divided by 39 divided by 39. Hey, look, we get the right answer finally. X is equal to 1/3 because you got to reduce. Oh, that's good. Y'all should have shouted louder. That's what happens when you're videotaping all by yourself. Number 6. 7 over 10y is equal to negative 28. Draw my line. I bet that's not long enough. We'll see. I have no... Oh, I do have a fraction. Let me get rid of my fraction. Multiply both sides by 10. 10s can cancel out. So that's 7y is equal to negative 280. Divide everything by 7. So y is equal to negative 40. I got that one right. And then for number 7 here, we have 1 over 5x plus 10 is equal to negative 32. I have no like terms, but I do have a fraction. I need to multiply everything by 5. So you think it looks like this, but it doesn't. Everything gets multiplied by 5. That's why I'm working these out for you. I didn't like tell you to pause it and try them. I wanted to show you some. Everything gets multiplied by 5. So this 5 on top will cancel out with that 5 on the bottom. Don't have anything but a 1x plus 5 times 10 is 50. Everything gets multiplied by 5. Everything. Over here, negative 32 times 5 is negative 160. Because it would be 150, so that's 160. Now, I have no letters over here to move. I have a number over here I can move, so I can subtract 50 from both sides. So that gives me 1x is equal to negative 210. Divide everything by 1. X is equal to negative 210, which incidentally is correct. And then for number 8. It says n over 5 minus 1 over 5 is equal to 1 over 5. What's my common denominator going to be? You guessed it, it's a 5. When I multiply this times 5, and this times 5, and this times 5, this cancels out, and that cancels out, and that cancels out. And we end up with n minus 1 equals 1. Move my 1 over, and you get n is equal to 2. Once you get rid of the fractions, it's usually not that difficult. It's just getting rid of the fractions that can be a little cumbersome. But if you multiply by the common denominator, it's not that cumbersome either. Okay, see you in the next one.